Straight ahead on WBKB News at 11. The Catholic community of Alpena unveils a new altar at St. Bernard Church. Plus, the Salvation Army is spreading awareness with the 13th annual Walk Against Homelessness and Hunger. And the Alpena Hockey Association invites local children to a free hockey clinic at Northern Lights Arena. We'll have those stories plus your local weather and sports. The news that affects you starts now.
From Rogers City to Tawas City and all points in between, this is Northeast Michigan's award-winning news team. We are your source for news, weather, and sports. We are WBKB News at 11.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Neil Lewanig. Earlier this afternoon, the Catholic community of Alpena unveiled a brand new altar at St. Bernard Catholic Church. I was there to witness this historic event. Here's the story. Inside St. Bernard Catholic Church, people celebrated the dedication of the new high altar in anticipation of an extraordinary Holy Year of Mercy declared by Pope Francis. 2 years ago, retired priest Jim Fitzpatrick came up with a proposal of building a new altar similar to the one back in the 1960s.
There wasn't enough reverence for our heritage. And what we're attempting to do here at St. Bernard's is to recapture some of that. And the most significant step to begin with would be, the main altar as we have done.
With the plan in place, the church needed to raise funds in order to make the altar a reality, and the people did not hesitate to help out.
8 weeks, we raised $119,000, which is pretty spectacular, in terms of the response of the people.
Because of the new altar, St. Bernard is now designated to be the site of pilgrimage in the Diocese of Gaylord.
It is one more station church that we have here where people can come to gather together, particularly because this is a historical church.
Not only is this altar a sign of peace, but it is also a symbol of togetherness for the Catholic community of Alpena.
For the Jubilee year that the Holy Father Pope Francis has named for us. So to have this altar present, this church in its luster and beauty, is a point of interest and draw for people of faith.
As the Catholic Church concludes a year of honoring 150 years of Catholic heritage in Alpena, the new altar is a sanctuary for parishioners who weren't able to adore the old altar that was removed over 50 years ago.
Some people who are from Alpena have never experienced because they grew up after that or they were born after that. So it's good for, I think, people to see the beauty of an altar like this.
As the catalyst of the altar, Father Fitzpatrick is overwhelmed with appreciation for the people who made this possible.
I was inspired by the response. And I knew that if this was God's will that would happen, the support would come, and it came from them.
The Holy Year of Mercy is one of the Catholic Church's most important events, and the new altar is a tribute to the upcoming year. In Alpena, Neil Lewanig, WBKB News. November is National Hunger and Homelessness Awareness Month, and the Salvation Army is helping spread awareness with the 13th annual Walk Against Homelessness and Hunger. This organized walk through downtown Alpena was a way to support and help abolish homelessness and hunger. Adults, children, and even pets joined yesterday's walk, and attendees also brought non-perishable canned goods to help local food pantries. After the annual walk, there was an auction fundraiser for local programs that helps people who are in need of food and a place to stay.
Because of the generous support, the camaraderie, and the compassion in these walkers here, we're able to do it for 13 years, and we're going to do it another year or two.
If you're interested in helping out with the cause, please contact the Salvation Army at 989-358-2769. Over the weekend, the Alpena Hockey Association invited kids for a try-free Hockey for Free clinic at Northern Lights Arena in Alpena. November is Come Play Hockey Month, and the Alpena Hockey Association, or AHA, treated local boys and girls to come out and play hockey for free. For an hour, children got a chance to experience and learn the basic skills of hockey and in a fun and safe environment. In a partnership with USA Hockey, the Alpena Hockey Association has put on this free clinic for about 4 years now, and their objective is to expose local children to the sport of hockey.
It's a huge enjoyment to watch the kids try this. These are kids that are 3, 4, 5 years old. Some of them the first time they've ever laced up the skates, and you will see a lot of smiles.
To find out more about future events and for more information, please visit alpinahockey.org. It's only the first week of November, but it's already looking a lot like Christmas. And yesterday, St. Paul Lutheran Church held their annual Christmas Bazaar. For about 40 years, the church has hosted this bazaar for residents to get a chance to stock up on holiday-related items such as food and decorations. A luncheon was then followed afterwards where guests were treated with soup, salad, desserts, and beverages. The bazaar was an opportunity for everyone in the city to gather and enjoy the upcoming holiday season, and proceeds from the event went to a great cause.
I think it brings about fellowship with other members of the congregation, and we like to do it to serve the public. So they have the canned goods for whatever they might need it for. And then we tithe 10% to a local charity, and we're tithing this year to the Good Samaritan Fund.
The congregation at St. Paul Lutheran Church is grateful with this year's turnout, and they look forward to hosting next year's Christmas Bazaar. Coming up next on WBKB News at 11, find out why restaurants are offering free meals to past and current military members. All that and more next. Welcome back. In state news today, dozens of people gathered in Galesburg for a flag retirement ceremony. The event came with a very special surprise for a World War II veteran.
At 19 years old, Bill Deary of Galesburg was fighting for his country.
Well, I was a nose gunner on a B-24, and we were hit by flak after bombing Vienna, and our plane lost an engine immediately, and about every 10 minutes another engine would go out.
His plane was shot down while flying a mission over Austria. Deary tells us 8 survived the jump, but they were soon taken to a prison camp in Germany.
I was in prison as a prisoner for 5 months and was liberated by Russians. The Russians wouldn't let us go to the American lines, which was 40 miles away, and we had to escape from the Russians.
This POW had no idea what was in store for him at today's flag retirement ceremony.
All gave some and some gave all. We have freedoms in this country that we often take for granted, but we have to stop and remember, we probably should do it every day, stop and remember that somebody has fought for those freedoms. Somebody has died for those freedoms.
Jeff Maxon's family has been retiring flags for decades.
The flags that are being retired today are faded and worn out American flags that have been donated to us for this purpose.
Maxon says each flag is burned with dignity and honor, carefully placed over a flame. Deary thought he was going to retire an American flag, but instead retired a black and white POW flag in honor of his comrades and their service.
It's quite an honor, I would think. Yes, all veterans should be honored. They do. Their life is on the line all the time while they're in combat, and you never know when it's going to happen.
In your Money Watch, agricultural officials have cleared commercial chicken and turkey farms infected by the avian flu to restock. A vet from the USDA says all but 5 of the 219 farms affected from the virus nationwide have been given approval. The virus first surfaced in December on the West Coast and spread over 6 months to 15 states, resulting in the death of 48 million birds. WalletHub has come out with its annual best and worst small cities in the U.S. Princeton, New Jersey topped the list, followed by Littleton, Colorado, and Dublin, Ohio. 20 of the worst small cities in America to live in are in California, including Bell Gardens, Huntington Park, and Bell, California at the bottom of the list. And this Veterans Day, many restaurants are offering free meals to past and present military members. The long list includes Applebee's, Denny's, Friendly's, and Red Lobster. You can head to themilitarywallet.com for the complete list of discounts and freebies. If you're heading to the pump, GasBuddy.com and AAA of Michigan helped us find the highest and lowest gas prices locally and across the state. The lowest price for gas in Alpena is coming in at $2.26 at Meyer. The highest is $2.38 at Marathon. Across the state, the lowest price at the pump is $1.99 in Belleville. And the highest price is coming in at $3.24 in Grosse Pointe. There's still much more to come on WBKB News at 11. Kyle Logan will be in with the sports, and I'll be right back with your full weather forecast. Stay tuned. Thanks for joining us. It is now time for a look at the weather. Today your high was at 53 degrees and your low was at 30 degrees. Your normal high was 46 degrees and your normal low was 30 degrees. Your record back in 1931 was 69 degrees and your record low back in 1976 was 12 degrees. Sunrise was at 7:22 a.m. and your sunset was at 5:12 p.m. Looking at your current conditions, it is 43 degrees right now outside with a humidity of 59%. And looking at your current radar, you can see it's very clear and no clouds in sight, which leads us to tonight. Obviously, mostly clear skies with temperatures in the lower 30s, southwest winds at 5 to 10 miles per hour. And tomorrow, we'll see sunny skies with temperatures in the lower 50s. Tomorrow night, mostly clear with temperatures in the mid-30s, southwest winds at 10 miles per hour. And now taking a look at our extended weather forecast. Tuesday and Wednesday, sunny but with partly cloudy skies, highs in the 50s. Thursday, the rain returns with highs in the lower 50s. Friday, we'll get a chance of showers and also a chance of snow in the evening. Saturday, mostly cloudy with highs in the lower 40s. And now it's time for today's photo of the day. Today's photo was sent in by Gail Baller of Alpena. Now, this is a photo Gail took of a rainbow after last night's rain in Alpena. What a beautiful rainbow before the sunset. Thank you, Gail, for sending us this photo. If you have a photo you would like to send us, email it along with a short description to news@wbkb11.com. In your health watch, a simple blood test could soon help determine if you're at risk of developing chronic kidney disease. A study in the New England Journal of Medicine shows that the test, which looks at levels of a protein called suPAR, can reliably predict a person's chances of developing the disease 5 years before the symptoms start. Doctors say breastfeeding is the healthiest choice for babies, but it might not be any better than formula when it comes to preventing allergies. A study of about 200 patients found breastfed children had about the same risk of developing hay fever, asthma, and food allergies as those who grew up on formula. And for pregnant women, there's a warning about the importance of physical activity. Researchers at the University of Warwick say too much sitting may be linked to depression in expectant mothers, as well as greater weight gain. That can increase the risk of gestational diabetes. In national news, we're just 2 days away from the next Republican presidential debate, and the top candidates are feeling the heat. Ben Carson is facing scrutiny for the controversial statements, while his nemesis, Donald Trump, adds fuel to the fire. Weijia Jiang has the complete wrap-up from Washington.
Dr. Ben Carson's life story helped him surge to the top of the polls, but now critics are questioning whether some of Carson's statements in his 1996 autobiography, Gifted Hands, are true.
The whole point is to distract the populace, distract me.
The retired neurosurgeon is accused of lying about his hard knocks upbringing and claims of receiving a scholarship offer to attend West Point Military Academy. Carson claims the media is on a, quote, witch hunt.
Every single day or every other day or every week, you know, they're going to come out with, well, you said this when you were 13.
Carson is running neck and neck with Donald Trump in recent polls, who is flying high off of his SNL hosting gig on Saturday night. The show received its best ratings in 3 years.
You think that's how it's going to be when I'm president? You're wrong. It's going to be even better.
Appearing on NBC's Meet the Press Sunday morning, Trump took a swipe at Carson.
You're going to have to explain a lot of things away.
Trump and Carson will face off on Tuesday night during the 4th Republican debate in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Carson leads Trump in some polls in the early voting state in Iowa. Sports is coming up next, but Kyle Logan is here with a preview. Kyle?
Neil, tonight in sports, the Alpena Flyers were looking to finish off their latest series strong. The Red Wings were back on the ice, and it was the final day of the Battle on the Bay tournament at Northern Lights Arena. All that and more coming up. Stay with us. Sports is next. This weekend has been all about the hockey going on in the local area. Northern Lights Arena has been the place to be, with the Flyers returning home in the Battle on the Bay tournament. Sunday was the final day of the tournament, and 3 of the 4 teams from Alpena were vying for a championship. First up in the Squirts House tournament, it was the Alpena Wolves up against the top seed Patriots from Mount Pleasant. First period, the Pats strike first. The puck finds Evan Kruger. He puts a shot on goal. It's saved, but Connor Stimke off the rebound finds the net, and Mount Pleasant leads by 1. A couple minutes later, Stimke again. He chases down the puck, open lane to the goalie. He fires and scores. His second puts the Pats up by 2. And now 2 minutes later, the youngster, he is feeling it. Stimke skates through defenders, puts a shot on goal. Jonathan Rinsberry thinks he's got it, but the puck falls out of his glove and across the line. That's a hat trick, and Mount Pleasant leads by 3. Alpena has some fight in them, however, closing seconds of the first, a shot on goal. And while falling, Garrett Hamp finds the back of the net to make it a 3-1 game. But throughout the next 2 periods, the Pats simply too strong, and they go on to win 5-2 the final. In the Pee Wee Championship, it was a battle of the 2 teams from Alpena. Both the Hawks, Alpena won in the white, 2 in the green. First period, 10 minutes in, Alpena 1 strikes first. Mitchell Agius up against the wall. He gets it to Andon Marceau. He connects, and the Hawks in white go up 1-0. 3 minutes later, Marceau again. This time he takes advantage of a mishandled puck. The shot on goal, and Colin Lightfoot can't make the save, and Alpena 1 leads by 2. The boys in green would respond, though. Ben Noack here looking for Josh Meredith. He misses, but the puck does find Ryan Ritter. The beautiful slap shot, and he finds the back of the net to cut the deficit to just 1. This was a back-and-forth game throughout, but in the end, the boys in white find just enough offense, and they take the Pee Wee House Championship 6-5. The last team from Alpena that we've yet to mention was the other on the Squirt side, the Alpena Coyotes. They played in the third-place game where they beat out Range Bank 1-0. Overall, a great weekend for all the teams closest to home. The Alpena Flyers currently in the midst of a 6-game homestand, and the hope is that with the home faithful by their side, the losing streak will soon fall. Sunday brought another matchup with the Ice Hawks, a team the Flyers have not had much luck against this season. The Hawks and Flyers, with the rare afternoon start, will begin in the third period. Tri-City up 2-0, looking to add to it. Cameron Smith has it up against the wall. An attempted pass bounces off a couple of guys. He corrals it, though. A shot on goal, no good. But John Matson there for the rebound, and the Hawks go up 3-0. The Flyers not backing down, though, later in the third. After Alpena clears the puck, Cody Foster looking to send it back the other way. But it goes right to Shane Dawson. He clears some space, fires, and finds the back of the net to put his team on the board. But Tri-City would get the last laugh. 2 minutes later, Addison Collins gets it to Austin Carroll, who finds Marks Mazargs. He fires a shot from one knee for the team's 4th goal of the game. Those 4 goals would be more than enough, and they take this one 4-1. After the game, we spoke with the Flyers head man, and he said despite the now 7-game losing streak, the team is showing bright spots, but they still have a lot to work on.
We're improving everything from our breakout. Our power play is amazing this year. Pretty much the little things we got to work on is just getting the puck out of the zone. Our wingers really got to bear down and start moving for our defensemen so they can make some plays.
As mentioned a little earlier, the Flyers currently in the middle of a 6-game homestand. The team will get back to work before taking the ice next Saturday night against the Kalkaska Rhinos. The Red Wings back in Joe Louis Arena Sunday to meet one of the hottest teams in the NHL in the Dallas Stars. First period, 7 minutes in, Stars on the power play. John Klingberg, the sharp pass over to Patrick Sharp. He fires a rocket and finds the back of the net to put Dallas up 1-0. Less than a minute left in the period. It's now 2-0, and here come the Red Wings. Detroit on the power play. Mike Green gets it to Nicholas Cronwall. The shot on goal, and Gustav Nyquist, the perfect angle on the deflection to put the Red Wings on the board. Move to the third period. Same score, just over a minute left. Detroit with an empty net looking to tie things up. Dallas simply looking to clear, but the puck finds Tyler Sagan. He takes it up the ice, fires, and gets the easy goal. And the Stars go up 3-1. They would tack on one more and come away with the 4-1 win. With the loss, the Red Wings fall to 7-7 on the season, and they will be back in action on Tuesday at home against the Washington Capitals. This weekend, the round of 8 continued as the Sprint Cup boys took over Texas Motor Speedway. Just 2 races left until the Final Four battle it out at Homestead. The veteran Jeff Gordon, the only driver locked in, and on Sunday afternoon, there were 7 others looking to become the second. AAA Texas 500 at Texas Motor Speedway. Brad Keselowski, the pole sitter, and he was dominant on the day. The number 2 led a track record 312 laps, but despite being the most dominant on the day, late in the race, Brad was not the fastest. The 48 of Jimmy Johnson had been closing the gap since the final restart back on lap 18. And with 3 to go, Jimmy is able to use the low line to make the pass, and from there he's able to pull away. Johnson takes home his 4th straight fall race at Texas. However, with Johnson out of the chase, that means Gordon is the only driver still locked into the Final Four. So let's take a look at where the standings sit. Jeff Gordon on top, and rightfully so, as the only driver locked into the Final Four. Behind him is Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick, Martin Truex Jr., and Carl Edwards rounding out the top 5. The final 3 starts with Brad Keselowski, and you see now how much that win would have meant for him. 7th is Kurt Busch, and rounding out the top 8 is Joey Logano, who is still reeling from being intentionally wrecked last week at Martinsville. Next week, the boys will head to Phoenix for their last chance to crack the top 4. And Neil, one last score to report. The Detroit Pistons had a late-night game in Portland against the Trail Blazers. They had a big come-from-behind victory. They outscored the Blazers 41-11 in the fourth quarter, winning 120-103. Reggie Jackson had a career-high 40 points, and Andre Drummond had 29 and 27. The Pistons are now 5-1 on the year, so it makes you wonder, are they the real deal this year?
It's a little too early to say something like that, but they could be. Andre Drummond has improved from last year, and Reggie Jackson, I mean, coming off the Thunder bench last year in a couple of years, that was a great pickup for the Pistons.
Really was, and it really just shows you that Stan Van Gundy has his team playing just the right time early on, and if they can keep this continue moving, they could be a scary team this year.
Stan Van Gundy is a great coach, and he's also a great GM too, getting those two guys to start playing well, you know?
Certainly is.
All right, thanks, Kyle.
Thanks, Neil.
Coming up next on WBKB News at 11, we'll tell you where you can use the Force and celebrate Christmas Star Wars style. Find out next. Welcome back. In Paris, people are already celebrating Christmas with the Star Wars theme. The Force is with a Paris department store this holiday season. Galeries Lafayette department store and Disney have teamed up for a Star Wars themed Christmas display. The tribute was unveiled Wednesday with choreography stunts, a light show, and people dressed as Jedis, stormtroopers, and other characters from the franchise. Crowds gathered outside the store to watch the performance, which ended with fake snow falling over them. One tourist who caught the unveiling described it as amazing. Star Wars The Force Awakens will be released in France on December 16th. So Kyle, that's interesting. Star Wars, Christmas, that's a great combination there, isn't it?
I think it really is, just because everyone that, you know, is so excited about Christmas. For most people, this is their favorite movie, even of all time. This is their most favorite series. So there's been a lot of hype and build-up around this series and around this movie. So there's a lot of people that are going to be lining outside those doors to see that movie. So I think, you know, that's a great thing that's going on in Paris. If you're there, you kind of have to see it. You mix Disney, you mix Star Wars, you mix, you know, the Christmas spirit, and you really can't get much better than that.
I wonder if my nephew Isaac he loves Star Wars, so if he sees something like this, he might give me a buzz and ask me to take him to Paris, but I don't know if that's going to happen anytime soon.
Might just be out of your budget, Neil.
Yeah.
But remember, you can read more about our broadcast stories and get the scoop on other news items online.
Just visit WBKB11.com for sports, weather, and news updates anytime, day or night.
Or add us on Facebook at facebook.com/WBKBTV.
Well, that will do it for tonight's show. Wake up with Erica Fernandez tomorrow morning at 6:30. Good night, everybody.